Okay, dear students, a very good morning to all of you. Thank you all for joining for the workshop. I hope all of you are doing well, and the intention behind having this workshop is that by now I'm quite sure that all of you would have started with your internship and you would have already shared the acceptance letters with your respective guides, and you should be interacting with your guides at regular intervals as well. The reason why we thought of having this workshop for you is to give you a heads up. It's to help you in the preparation of your internship report. So the objectivity behind this particular interaction, this particular session is to empower you, is to help you to go about preparing the report for your internship. So just to quickly run you through a gist of what was already covered earlier, and the reason why this internship is very significant and important is because the internship is a mandatory course for all BBA students. So, based on the prescribed guidelines and the structure which is given to us by UGC, that's the reason why the internship has been incorporated into your curriculum. Now, the internship is going to fetch you 2 credits, and the evaluation of your internship would be out of a total of 50 marks. So, the intention behind asking you to pursue an internship is because across the last 4 semesters of your BBA, you would have already learned different aspects of business, different aspects of management. You've already studied subjects in economics, accounts, finance, marketing, HR, etc. And through this internship that you're pursuing at the organization, we would give you a practical exposure and an understanding as to how some of these concepts would be applied in real life at an organization. So the objectivity is to give you a heads up. It's to give you a hands-on experience of how some of the concepts that you have theoretically studied is applied in an organization. Also, we are asking you to prepare a report based on the learning outcomes of your course. So that's the entire intention of asking you to pursue this particular internship course. So please remember the internship is going to fetch you 2 credits and your evaluation would be out of 50 marks. Now this 50 marks would be broken down into 2 parts. There are 2 components whereby with which you would be getting the total of 50 marks. So you will be getting 30 marks for the internship report that you would be submitting at the end of your internship, and there would be a Viva voice which would be conducted for you. So based on the internship report that you're submitting with the department and to the institution, an external expert would be called to you for your Viva voice. They would be asking you questions based on the report and the internship that you have carried out, and they would be giving you marks. So that's what would be happening at a Viva voice. So there are 2 parts to your evaluation for the internship. There is the internship report that would fetch you 30 marks, and there's a Viva voice that would be conducted for you that will fetch you 20 marks. So when you add up these two together, that is how your total evaluation of 50 marks would be coming to you. Okay, now moving forward from there, uh, there are some elemental guidelines that has already been prescribed to you, and this was already been exposed to you as well, or this was already been covered to you as well. So your internship would be carried out under the supervision of a faculty. The faculty would be your guide. So they would be helping you, they would be assisting you whenever you have any doubts or whenever you have any queries. They would be giving you a heads up, or they would be giving you a guidance of how you could go about facing those issues and challenges. Now, you are expected to pursue your internship that you would have already done, and you would have already submitted the acceptance letters. The minimum time duration that is expected for your internship is 30 days. Now, you should have already got a permission letter, which is in the form of acceptance letter, and that should have been submitted to your guide on or before your end semester examination. So you were already been given an internship manual. The internship manual talks about the guidelines and the structure for your internship report. And based on the experience you are gaining through your internship, you are expected to prepare a report. Okay, now the report would have to undergo many drafts. It would have to undergo many stages of correction. And once your internship has finally been approved by your guide, you should go for the final printout and that needs to be submitted with the department. Now, the report has got basically two parts. There's an initial pages section. These are basically mandatory or statutory pages that you need to insert. And there's also the internship report body. So we will talk about these two separately. Now, the initial pages, there are some uh, mandatory pages that you have to include. There's a cover page, then there's an inner cover page. So the formats for this, it has already been included in your internship manual. You could refer to that. Then there should be a certificate from a guide. So that as well, the wordings, the words that you have to use, the flags that needs to be used, all that has been shared with you in the internship manual. So is the certificate from the college. Now, certificate from the company, this I will come a little later where I'll be talking about this in detail. Then there's a declaration that you need to include telling that your internship work is genuine. It is based on your effort. Then you can include an acknowledgement. You can include, then you must include a list of contents, then list of tables and graphs. So these are some of the statutory pages which are expected to be there in your internship report. Now let's move forward from there. There are 7 chapters that you have to include into your internship. So the main body of your internship, it would be comprising of 7 chapters. Now I will talk about each of these chapters in detail. The first chapter is introduction. So in the introduction chapter, you would be introducing your internship. So let's say a layman person is coming across your internship. By looking at the introduction, they should get a summary of what you have pursued, what you have done in your entire internship report. Okay, so that is the intention behind introduction. Technically, when you are preparing your internship report, introduction would be the last chapter that you should be writing. I'll repeat that. When you're preparing your internship report, introduction, though it's the first chapter, this would be the last chapter that you should be preparing as a part of your report preparation. The second chapter is industry profile. In industry profile, you will be introducing the industry to the reader. So here's an example. Let's take an example where you are pursuing your internship at State Bank of India. State Bank of India is the company. The industry that it belongs to would be banking. So you would write a overview regarding the banking profile. Okay. Or let's think of another example. Imagine you're doing at Wipro. Now Wipro is an IT company. Since it's an IT company, in the industry profile, you would be talking about IT industry. Let's assume you are doing an MRF. MRF is tire industry. So you would be talking about tire industry in your industry profile. So likewise, depending on where you are pursuing your internship, based on that company's industry, you will have to prepare your industry profile. Now, what all can be included in the industry profile? You can talk about the history, you can talk about the evolution, you can talk about the changes that has come across in that industry for the last few time periods. So all this can be included in the industry profile. Now, along with the industry profile, you can also go about including some statistics. Okay, so there are so many people working, there are so many companies in this particular industry. So all that can be included in the industry profile. So I'll repeat that once again. In the industry profile, you can talk about the history of the industry, evolution of the industry, some statistics around the industry. Now, if you would have also noticed in the internship manual, we've also specified what are the maximum pages, minimum and maximum pages. Okay, so for example, introduction, minimum 2 pages, maximum 3 pages. Industry profile, minimum 15 pages, maximum 20 pages. So that's the second chapter. So second chapter is your industry profile. Third chapter is 3C analysis. What can be covered in 3C analysis? Your 3C analysis is what will form the major chunk of your entire internship report. So this should have three major parts. There are three major parts that would be covered as a part of your 3C analysis: company, customer, competitor. I'll repeat that. 3C analysis, you'll be talking about three major aspects. The first is company, next is customer, and then finally competitors. Now, let me explain these three C analysis in detail. Under company, you can talk about the company where you're pursuing your internship, history of the company. How did this company come into being, come into existence? What are the changes that has taken place in the company? What are the company's products? What are the company's services, etc. So that is what you would be carrying out under 3C analysis. In customer section, you would be talking about who are the customers, what is the customer profile of the company, what category of customers are they focusing on. So in marketing, I'm quite sure that you would have studied concepts like STP analysis, segmentation, targeting, positioning. So is it based for a premium customer or is it for all the customers? So that is what you would be covering under customer profile. Then we have something which is called as competitor. So under competitor, we would be talking about who are the competitors of the company. Okay, who are the competitors of the company? So I'm quite sure every company that you pick up, they would on an average have many competitors. So depending on the competitor size, you could probably select 4 to 5 competitors and write about them. So here's an example. We could look at State Bank of India as an example. So in 3C analysis, at first we'll talk about State Bank. How did State Bank come into existence? What is the history of State Bank? How what if you can talk about the organization structure, who are the major people who have played a significant role in the evolution of the company. So all that you will be covering under company. You can also talk about the products and services. What are the different types of products that State Bank of India has? They might have savings account, current account, fixed deposits, etc. So you can give a gist about those products and services. Then who are the customers of State Bank of India? Okay, so you can so State Bank of India's would have different categories of customers. So probably savings account, they would have one category of customers. For loans, they would have another category of customers. So you can give just about all the customer profile in that section. Then competitor. So State Bank of India, since it's a bank, all the other banks are its competitors. Now we know that there are many banks in India. You need not write about all the competitors. So among the many banks, you can, in terms of size, you can pick up maybe banks like ICICI, HDFC, Punjab National Bank, and you could write about that in your 3C analysis. So in 3C analysis, there are three major subsections: company, customer, competitor. Now please remember, your chapter 3 is what is forming the major chunk of your internship report. Then the next fourth chapter is organizational structure and department profile. So here you would be talking about what is the hierarchy that is followed in the organization. What are the different designations that they have? So for example, they might have a designation called as CEO. So what is the role and responsibility of CEO? They might have a designation called as vice president. What are the roles and responsibilities of vice? So it does not give a understanding about, so you have to give an understanding about the organization structure of the company. Then you have to talk about the department profile. What are the different departments that are there in the organization? Marketing department. If they have a marketing department, what does a marketing department do? If they have a finance department, what does the finance department do? If they have an HR department, what does the HR department do? So this is what is expected under department profile. Now, then next is SWOT analysis. Now, what is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, challenges. I'll repeat that: strength, weakness, opportunity, challenges. So here you will be focusing on 4 major areas. First is strength. Strength, you're talking about what are the positives of the company, what are the attributes that helps the company to have a competitive advantage. Is it their technology? Is it their human resource? Is it their product? Is it their patented technology? Whatever. So you should try and identify the strengths of the company, write about the strengths. Then the next is weaknesses. You might find that there are some problems or there are some limitations that the company might have. These are basically places where the company could improve on. So let's say the company might have very good, highly qualified employees, but they're not trained well. So weakness is lack of training for the employees. So like that, you should identify the weaknesses. Opportunity refers to what are the avenues that the company could utilize so that can become better. Okay, so let's say the company as of now is present only in one state. There is scope for them to introduce their products and services in other states. That's an opportunity for the company. Or let's say as of now, the company is focusing only on one segment of consumers. They can diversify into other segments. That is another opportunity. The last is you should write about the challenges. So challenges basically you'll be covering the threats of the company. What are now these? Please always remember opportunity and challenges. These are external to a company, which means it's not within the control. It's not within the purview of the company. Uh, that is what you would be referring to as opportunities and challenges. Uh, Anything internal, internalized aspects are what would fall as strengths and weaknesses. So, SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses are internal, opportunity, challenges are external. So, as challenges, you should talk about the threats that the company might be at. So, probably it might be a highly regulated industry or a company. So that's the challenge. The government may bring about some new law. So that's the challenge for the company. So that's what you should be covering under challenges. Then learning outcomes by pursuing this internship. What have you learned? Now, please remember when you're writing a learning outcome, it should not be from a first person's point of view. It should be from a third person. You should not write I learned. Okay, you should write it as from a third person. The learnings gained from this internship are. Okay, so learning outcomes should never be written from first person. It should always be written from a third person's point of view. Finally, you have conclusion. Conclusion would be a closing remark that you would be having for your internship. So once again, I'll repeat this. There are 7 chapters. Introduction. Introduction is something that you would be writing at the end, where you would be summarizing all the other chapters. That is industry, 3C analysis, organization, SWOT analysis, learning outcome, and then you would be preparing your introduction. Second is your industry profile. You're introducing the industry of the company. 3C analysis, 3 major sections: company, customer, competitor. Organization structure, you'll be talking about the organizational hierarchy as well as the departments that the company has. SWOT analysis, you'll be covering strength, weakness, opportunity, cost. Finally, you have learning outcome. What have you learned by pursuing this internship? And then finally, we have your conclusion. Conclusion is a summary. Okay, so moving forward from there, we also want to give you some heads up regarding preparing. The minimum number of pages for your report should be 37 pages. Now, please remember the page numbers would start from chapter 1, which is introduction. Please remember the page numbering for your internship would start from chapter 1, which is introduction. The initial pages, that is cover page, inner page, then the certificate from the guide, etc. All this is that will not have page numbers. Okay, so your page numbering would start from introduction, chapter 1. Then the report should be prepared with. You should take printout. Your internship needs to be typed and then it needs to be printed. Now, when you're submitting the report, it has to be soft bound. Basically, you can approach a DTP center. You can inform them that you have to carry out a soft bound. They would know what needs to be done. So you can soft bind your internship and then you can submit that. Then when you are pursuing your internship, you're expected to interact and update your guide at least once in a week through whatever possible channel. It could be in the form of maybe an email, or you could probably give a call based on the convenience and the availability of the guide, and you could interact with them to give them an update regarding the progress of your internship. But what we would suggest you to do is that at least once in a week, please drop an email to your guide with an update and a progress regarding the progress that you have made with respect to your internship. Now, there is some more things that you need to follow. You're expected to upload geotag photos in a shared Google form. So by tomorrow from the department, we would be sharing a Google form, and the Google form will be containing options for you to upload geotag photo. Now, during the entire course of your internship, you need to update photos twice. So, two times you will have to update the photos regarding the internship. Now, in each update, you are expected to share two photos. One photo would be outside the office premises, okay, and the second photo would be inside the office premises. So, when you use the application for geotag photos, uh, it will be capturing automatically the latitude, longitude, where you are located. And so it's just to give a cross check regarding the reporting of your reporting to the organization where you are pursuing your internship. So there are two times that you need to update the Google form, and each update two photos, which means in total you will have to share photos, four photos. Each update, two photos. So I'll repeat that once again. You need to update twice geotag photos in the provided Google form. In each update, you are expected to share two photos. One photo is outside the office. One photo should be taken outside the office premises or the organization premises. The second photo needs to be taken inside the office or inside the organization premises. So the first update, we are expecting all the students to share on the 10th of June. The first update we would be expecting you to share on 10th of June. Second update, depending on the completion of your internship, especially towards the end, you can share. So preferably a timeline between 17th to 30th of June, you can take another two sets of geotag photos and then upload that. So the first update would be on 10th of June, where you are expected to share two photos, one inside, one outside. The second update would be between 17th to 30th of June, depending on when you have started your internship. So depending on that, you would be expected to share the second set of photos, again two photos, one inside, one outside. So this is what we are expecting. Now on the completion of your internship, we are expecting you to collect a completion certificate from the organization. Now there are a few things that you need to watch out when you're collecting the completion certificate. The completion certificate must be issued on the company letterhead. I'll repeat that. The completion certificate must be issued on the company letterhead. Second thing is that the dates of your internship should be specified on the internship completion certificate. I'll repeat that. Dates of your internship should be mentioned in the completion certificate. The internship certificate, completion certificate, should be signed by an authorized personnel, which means in your organization, there would be a person who would be designated to sign that completion certificate. It might be a CEO, it might be the marketing manager, it might be a personal manager. Whoever is the authorized person, their signatures and credentials should be there on the completion certificate. Then the certificate needs to be sealed on using the company's official seal. So every registered company in India must have an official seal. This official seal should be there on the completion letter. So if you're coming back with a letter without a company's official seal, then it is not a completion certificate. We will not be accepting that as a completion certificate. So for us to accept a letter as a completion certificate, it has to be issued on the letterhead. Date should be specified. Authorized personal signature should be there. It should be sealed by the company. So without these, it would be very difficult for us to accept the certificate as a completion certificate. So these are some of the things that you need to be watching out for, and I hope that you would be following these diligently to make sure that your internship is going to be successful, and you would have a very good learning experience as a result of your internship that has been carried out.